Hey everyone, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching the channel as always. Today we've got one of these bicycle wheel Lowe's brand push mowers here in the garage. Again, I'm pulling them out of the backyard. The one that looks the best in the backyard is the one that gets to get fixed next, and this is one of them. This big 22-inch mower, and I mean, it appears to be in okay shape. The deck's not rotted out. Wheels are decent. I will have to replace the front wheels. It's actually got one of these primer bulbs on the side here, like a snowblower, which is kind of interesting. I haven't had one of those in a while, and it's actually the second one ever. And 5 horsepower Briggs. I think at the very least we got to put a flywheel key in it. That's what's going on with this. I'll show you what it's doing before we get started. But anyways, that's what we're going to work on today. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, ellis@ellismowers.com, or at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook. And I also have a partnership with HiPA with aftermarket carbs and aftermarket mower parts. If you click on the link at the description below, I get a small commission off of any items that are bought using that link off of their website. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll get an overview of this mower, and then we'll go ahead and get into fixing whatever needs to be fixed on it. So let's give an overview of everything here. Like I said, Lowe's 22-inch mower. It's got the 5 horsepower Quantum Briggs & Stratton engine on it. It's like the early Quantums though, because it's got the primer bulb attached to the side here of the carburetor, and we have a no choke, although it's got all this whole kind of old style, what used to be a choke set up on this thing, but the throttle cable no longer works, so we'll have to fix that throttle cable to where it will not move and stay at a fixed throttle the whole time. And pull rope works. Oil doesn't really exist. But what I am going to do is I believe that this needs a flywheel key and just a general cleaning of everything, if I remember right. I'll get it out here and I'll pull it to see if it will actually, I think it will pull. So I have, you can kind of feel it, and you can kind of feel it too, but it's just all jumpy and all over the place. Blade, I think we can save the blade on it. These bicycle wheels are super nice. Let's see if I can find the blade. Can we save the blade? I think we can salvage that blade for a $60, $50 to $60 mower. Let me get it on the bench, and we'll take off everything up top here and see. I want to do a gas tank check, and y'all know what I do with the gas tanks on the Quantums. I just blow into them to see if there's any air leaks on them. Well, just the primer bulb is where it's coming out from, so I think we're okay. So this is kind of cool. Check, I've got a cable that actually fits this thing. The cable was bad on it, split in multiple places, but hey. It works. So usually this bracing point right here is bad, and it is bad for, well, the throttle cable that was on this. So like I said, we're going to make this a fixed throttle cable. I'll cut that off. Let me get this on the bench, and then we'll take this off and see what the condition of the flywheel key is. And then we'll go into seeing what I can do with the carburetor. Alright guys, let me show you this air filter. See how oily it is? It is really bad. That kind of tells me that this thing was either shooting out oil or running rich or something along those lines when I when it was originally going on, or it could just be because it was old and never been changed. Probably a little bit of both. But we've got to take off these little plastic tabs in order to get at this pull rope and gas tank and all that stuff. So I got to get my sockets. It really doesn't take too long to get off. It's just somewhat time consuming. I am going to just take the wing nut off of the, well, I was, but it's not wanting to. So it's some 5/16 on the top here of the tank. Oh, by the way, y'all want to guess the year of this thing? I think Lowe stopped making stuff in like 97. With this carb setup, I figured it'd probably be like 92 or 93. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, I'm right on the money, actually. It's 125602, made October 13th of 92. So just a couple months older than I am. Hope I'm not making anybody feel old out there. We got 2 3/8 in the front here. See if I can pivot this back one so that we don't have to take it off. Yeah. That fuel line's so hard. I think I'm just going to just cut it for right now. We'll combine them together, and I mean, that is just ready to just fall to pieces right there. I'm just trying to, ooh, I got this power bulb too I've got to be careful with. And that line's going to have to be replaced too, but come on. It's got to get off one way or the other. I might be able to wiggle around it, but I do have to get this wing nut off. So let me get, goodness gracious, rust has kind of gotten to this. Let me tell you what, let me grab an extension here and we'll take off the 2 rear bolts. And then I'll do a little bit of rust prevention. Come on. And the 4th bolt, get down there. There we go. So those 4 bolts get this pull rope assembly off. Now it will come with the oil dipstick, and that's fine in this case because there's really no oil in it. You just do a little bit of magic on the wing nut for the pull rope handle so I can get that off and down retracted so that I can get this assembly off here. Alright guys, I got the pull rope in, so let's take this off. It's going to fight a little bit because trying to get that oil dipstick off too. There we go. Okay. So I can get this out. Yes. Alright. Now, ugh. Crankcase is looking a little rough. Underneath here looks okay. Gonna grab kind of run out of lubricant there. Anyways, I'll grab my impacts and we'll take this flywheel cup off next. All right, next order of business, we're gonna pull this flywheel cup off. And yeah, we find a busted flywheel key, so you can see it right here. There's your crankshaft groove. There's where your flywheel is. Flywheel key is, so that would explain why it was ripping my finger back, or ripping my hand back, whatever you want to call it. So now, if this works, it always takes a couple of whacks and a little bit of faith. I think I got to get this thing out of the way. I got to shoot some lubricant in there. I think I got to get this gas tank out of the way. There we go. That's an interesting setup for the primer bulb too. That's rather interesting. It's like almost like an internal fuel line attachment there, which is kind of interesting. We'll probably get another fuel line to get a boat above it. So I've got to get it off the carb too, but I don't know. I mean, it's pretty crushed. Anyways, let me grab the tools that I need to hopefully get this flywheel off. And we'll try it on camera. I'm sure it won't work because when I try it on camera, it never does. Alright guys, I got a big pry bar, hammer, find an area to pry up on it. And what I usually do is just give it a big old whack. There we go. We'll fix those threads if necessary. I think we'll be okay though. But there she is. There's your busted sheared flywheel key on this side. And we'll get those out with like a little flathead screwdriver. I might even be able to get them out with this. There's one, or there's the partial shear on this one. And then one. And so there's the other side. So that was an issue that we had with this one. And now what I'll do is take this nut here. Oh, it really wants to bind up. Might put this on very low and see what happens. I think we're going to be alright. I'll just clean the threads up on this thing. I see a couple of threads that tried to get compromised there. That's always the risk of hitting that thing like that. You might mess something up. It's not I don't see where it messed the threads up that bad. We will clean this up a little bit. Might wire brush it while I got it here too. And let me grab a flywheel key. We'll put a flywheel key back on it. Alright y'all, I'm going to put the flywheel back on. We'll get it washed and cleaned up at a later time. Need to put the brake down. Alright, here's the flywheel. And then the key. Cup. And the flywheel nut. Yeah, we're getting good. I'm gonna kind of knock it to number 2 on this. Okay. That's good. Now, y'all saw me undo everything. I'm going to figure out a situation with this primer bulb. I want to see, well, or should I just convert it to a newer style with the primer bulb over here? But then you're talking about linkage changes and stuff like that. So let me see what part, let me see if I can get this primer bulb set up to work with this carburetor, if this carburetor will even work, and then I'll revisit to see if we're going to save the primer bulb, the external primer bulb like this, or we're going to put it, put a newer style throttle setup on this, which I have a few of them, so it's not a big deal to change it out. But we'll have to do that if we need to. Alright guys, I got it back together, just like every way I took it off. I also replaced the pull rope. I did that in the previous Craftsman video, that's literally the video right before this one on the channel. And so I didn't worry about filming that. It kind of looks like I'm missing some sort of return spring for like a carburetor. So let me see if I can find something that will work for that. This throttle mechanism is not connected anymore. So let me see if I can find a spring that will work and fix this throttle to where it won't go anywhere. And then we'll give it a test run. Alright guys, so gas is in it, oil is in it. I found some sort of spring that it looks like it'll work okay. I may have to pull it out just a little bit, otherwise it might run a little bit fast. I don't know if you can look in there, but the primer bulb is priming, which is really nice. So at the very least this thing should start. Oh, by the way, I put a throttle cable on this as well, so we got a little bit of throttle cable action going on it. Oh, I gotta fix that. I'll have to fix that throttle spring to make sure that it stays hooked on there. But either way, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna test it out here, see what happens, and see what it does. So primer bulb's working. It's running really low, like an idle almost, and doesn't seem like it wants to pick up. So it may be time to throw, or to see what we can do about the carburetor setup. That might be our next step. But we do know that it turns over and runs, so that's a good thing. Alright guys, I'm smoking out the neighbors here, but I think after a few tries, we got the jet free, and I think it's going to start for us now. Or maybe. That works. Definitely a lot of oil in the muffler. Ooh. See if this works a little better. Gotta adjust the spring on it a little bit, or found another spring, one of the two. So it would be nice if I could get a throttle cable to work on this. So let me find some springs and see if I could adjust them and see what ends up happening here. I think we're just going to give this thing some run time, and then I'll sharpen the blade and give it a wash. And I need to find some front wheels for it too, but I can do that. Then we'll see what we can get for it. This thing even idles. It's crazy. I'll throw a little seafoam in it. I'll let it run for a few minutes. I'll put an air filter on it, and I'll rejoin y'all once I finish everything up with the blade. Alright guys, we're done here. I'm going to give you one last run. What I am going to do, or what I'll show you also, I replaced the two front wheels. I had to use wheels from a just wheels from my my Horde or my wheel pile. The ones that were on it were ball bearing. I only had one ball bearing one, and then I have one standard one over here. So it's going to it'll work just fine. Of course, you got the big bicycle type wheels in the back. I did a little carb tuning because this one is old enough to where it does have the old style idle screw and whatnot on it, or jet screw, which is really nice. And I've idled it down quite a bit, so I want to see if it will start up on idle. As good as I can get it. Alright, so that's probably as good as we're going to get it. So it's got that little stumble, but I think it may be because I have a weak governor spring on it. I think it's a little bit weaker than the stock one, although it works well otherwise. So let's wrap this video up. Alright y'all, so that's basically it for this mower. I do want to get it to run a little bit better, but I'm also torn because I don't want to break open that carburetor because I know that those 30-year-old gaskets and seals are going to just collapse. So it's not leaking now. It's starting reliably, running reliably, idling great. And I think we're going to let it be. Again, this is no more than like if I get $70 for this thing, it's going to be good. It's going to be more realistically like 50 to 60. So I don't want to put a ton of time in it. I'll probably get a couple hours in it now as it is. But we did put a flywheel key in it, a pull rope, and an air filter. Sharpened the blade. We had to replace a couple of wheels. Really though, this thing, it cleaned up pretty nicely, and it also, you can also tell with it being nearly 30 years old that somebody really did take care of it, and that the real reason why this thing stopped running was because of a bad flywheel key. I don't know why. The blade's not bent. The blade's sharpened just fine. It's not vibrating the mower or anything like that. So, like I said, somebody's going to have a nice, cheap push mower to use. And these bicycle wheels, people love these things. So they don't come on any mowers anymore. And they will pay a little bit extra. So, like I said, I'll probably list it for 70. I would like 60, but if I can get 50 for it, that would be. I'd let it go for 50, just to get it out of the way. Trades are always good too. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I did a little bit more than I usually do on these, just because I had the parts here, like adding the throttle cable back and putting actually a bail cable on it. So I usually don't do that with these mowers, but I had some here, and I had the parts on the mower that I could use. I found a good governor spring, and that's kind of all she wrote on this, and as well as the front wheels. Again, you can, if you have any questions about this video, you can feel free to reach out to me, Ellis at ellismowers.com, or you can reach out to me at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook. And if you need any parts for your small engine equipment, you can check out my link below. It'll link you to the HiPA store, and I get a little commission from that if you buy something off of the HiPA store using that link. Thank you again for watching the video, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. See you then.